V1 to the left of me, broken to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with Jeff. Hello there, I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and this is how WWE should book, where I take an angle from now to the future, then challenge WWE to do it better, because I'm a smartass. This time, how WWE should book, hang on. Broken Matt Hardy. So if you've been watching WWE, you know that Matt Hardy is a little bit conflicted right now. He throws up the V1 and then he does delete, and he sort of does this at ringside, but he's not fully broken. We haven't really had any backstage skits, which are weird. He seems to be getting on with his brother Jeff, who's very obviously back to his old Team Extreme. Boo, whoa. I wanted to be Jeff Hardy so much when I was a kid. I'm gonna put my hair back to normal. It's freaking me out. There we go. For those of you who don't know what the Broken Matt gimmick is, and honestly there's two of you and you're both idiots. It started way back in the awful year of 2016. Matt got a head injury. He went a bit nuts, put his brother through like a coffee table with like a fake baby was in there, and everyone's like, this is really weird and dumb. And then it just got weirder and more dumb, and it sort of became this self-generating engine of ideas, creativity, and this sort of refreshing Sharknado, so bad it's good, but also surprisingly earnest, because like it was genuinely some stuff you haven't seen before, like a boxing kangaroo imbued with the spirit of George Washington, but also it was played for laughs because like you couldn't take any of it seriously. It was a weird cocktail that, you know, I've admitted in the past I didn't get when I first saw it, because I thought, wait, are they trying to be Sharknado? Why would you want to do that? But then just they kept throwing ideas and ideas and ideas and ideas at it. The final deletion became total non-stop deletion and apocalypto and all this stuff, and you know, typing on the keyboard, haha Adam, you thought it was stupid, but then Matt Hardy came to WCPW, and so you just like sucking his dick because you're a cuck. Actually, what is a cuck? Hang on, I'll look that up. Oh no, yeah, fair enough. So yeah, it really went through the fire to become great and became one of the most refreshing gimmicks ever. Partly because they persevered through a long stretch where it was really weird. It became this kind of meme factory, and yeah, you just like it because it's taking risks, and it's not only taking risks but kind of sticking with them and forcing yourself to become a hot property, which is incredible. Like if you look back at Matt Hardy's career, like he's not always hit the nail on the head, but he's always gone out there and tried to do weird stuff with his sort of rasta hair and his bit where he was like holding up cards and being sad, and the suicide note he did. Like he's a dude who really understands that wrestling is all about just throwing every idea you've got and seeing what sticks. And Broken Matt eventually stuck. Now, why did WWE not bring Broken Matt in and just like, look, here he is, isn't he weird? Well, I actually think they've done it right. They've brought Matt in still looking like Broken Matt's, this sort of gauge like, hey, do people know what this is? But they haven't gone full delete yet because, well, first of all, there's money to be made in Hardy Boys t-shirts, y'all. And second of all, you don't know how much of your fan base actually recognizes Broken Matt. Like at some Raws, there are delete chants. Others, not so much. At pay-per-views, sure, they're more expensive, so you're likely to be a more hardcore fan if you go to it, so you're more likely to recognize Broken Matt. But here's the thing, if the majority of their fan base don't watch TNA, and lots of people don't watch TNA, then bringing back Matt as crazy from the off is just taking a big dump on the nostalgia dollar. And because the whole Broken Matt thing is essentially a joke, you can't really repeat the joke in the exact same way by, you know, turning him mad exactly how they did it, because then you've just, well, I mean, there's no like, it's a meme. It wears out over time. You have to keep regenerating it with new content, so you can't just have him go through exactly like final deletion over and over and over again. Oh, and also there's a legal issue with the fact that Anthem kind of sort of co-own the gimmick. It's difficult. Like, did Jeremy Borash co-create it? Rebby Skies had things to say. It's a thorny issue basically, but I know you guys want to know how WWE should book Broken Matt. Well, you need to concern yourself with two things before you start. One, a new approach with new jokes. That's crucial. And second of all, for the fans who don't know, making it make contextual sense within Matt Hardy in the WWE, not in TNA. And to do that, I would have WWE almost repress the gimmick so that the organic groundswell of wanting the gimmick is increased. Like the Daniel Bryan thing, you sort of take it away to make us want it more supply and demand. Have him clean up his act, have him dye his hair, have him retreat fully to Team Extreme, then launch Broken Matt again. That way, if the fans really get behind this idea of they're not listening to us, we want this, chant, 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 then even the people who aren't fully aware of exactly what Broken Matt is knows that, oh, okay, this is a hot property, everyone around me is chanting about it, I'm gonna chant for it as well, try and get that united fan base. Here's my plan. In the beginning, I'm gonna do what WWE mostly did when talking about the Hardy Boys and focus on Jeff, more specifically, Jeff's tooth. WWE, do it better. So right off the bat, the thing we have to assume, and that's the big fantasy booking thing, is that somehow WWE reaches an agreement with Anthem that they're able to use the Broken Matt Hardy gimmick. Like that, I don't know how likely that is. That's completely behind the scenes. It's the only real caveat we have to do before we do this booking, okay? So just assume that has happened. Also, if that does happen, make sure that this news gets out in the dirt sheets. Don't put it on WWE.com, but make sure it's all over the Wrestling Observer and Reddit, that WWE have procured the rights to do Broken Matt. And ideally, you get this done before you get to Extreme Rules, where you announce Cesaro and Sheamus again going for the tag titles against the Hardys in a Texas Tornado match. No tags, no disqualifications, anything goes. And here's the thing, big up the tooth thing. Like, Sheamus kicked Jeff Hardy's tooth out of his head. If I were WWE, I would try and use that accident to turn up the heat on the feud. Don't let Jeff get treatment on his tooth yet. I mean, that sounds like a harsh thing to say, but have him have that gap. Have the cameras focus in on that gap during his matches, and have Cesaro and Sheamus nick his tooth. In backstage interviews, have Sheamus open his hand to reveal Jeff Hardy's tooth, which he's going to fashion into a necklace and wear to his match. Say that they have almost got through breaking Jeff. Because, in their mind, Jeff Hardy is the key to the Hardy Boys, because that's sort of how he's always been treated in WWE. That's sort of a language that WWE fans understand. On the Go Home Raw before Extreme Rules, they go after Jeff with chair shots to the ribs, injuring his ribs. Again, they are focused on Jeff. They don't really care that much about Matt. They're going for Jeff. They believe he is the key to the Hardys. Backstage, you can see this is starting to affect Matt Hardy. He's rambling backstage while Jeff is being attended to by EMTs. He's talking about needing to delete Cesaro and Sheamus, but Jeff grabs him and says, no, listen up, okay, we have got Extreme Rules coming up. We have to be Team Extreme. Bit of branding, bit of on-message branding. I'm a good boy, WWE. I'm playing your game. During the match, it's a chaotic affair, but mostly the Hardys are being Team Extreme, doing the, you know, that stuff. During the match, Matt Hardy managed to wrestle the tooth away from Sheamus, and he just looks at it in his hand and he becomes weirdly fascinated with it. Oh yeah. And that opens him up to a bro kick on the outside, effectively taking Matt out of the finish of the match. Jeff Hardy sets up this huge ladder in the corner of the ring, climbs to the top, Team Extreme. He goes for a swanton bomb on Cesaro, but Sheamus pulls him out of the way and he lands smack on his injured ribs. Then a bro kick, 1, 2, 3. Sheamus and Cesaro have become the new WWE Raw Tag Team Champions. So Matt Hardy, again, a little bit more wide-eyed and unsettled because of the loss. He burns a ladder backstage, believing that to be the symbol of Team Extreme and that to be the symbol of why they lost. And he finds something delightful in the flames. Jeff, on the other hand, is taken aside by Kurt Angle, and he's got a message from the convalescing Stephanie McMahon saying that basically, if Jeff doesn't sort of take care of Matt, who's going a bit mental, then not only will Matt be fired, but Jeff will be fired as well. After all, according to Steph, they paid for the Hardy Boys and they made the Hardy Boys, and if they're not going to act like the Hardy Boys, then they can get out. So yeah, Steph basically thinks that Matt is unraveling because of too many ladder shots to the head, and if they don't clean up their act, they will lose their contracted rematch at Great Balls of Fire. Great Balls of Fire, Jesus Christ. And after all, Steph boasts, if we fire you, you've got nothing outside the business. There's no such thing as the Hardy Boys if they're not in WWE. You've done nothing of value outside of this company. What you are is Team Extreme and Team Extreme alone. Nothing. In WWE or nothing. You know, just really amp up the fact that, oh, you're a bastard and we want Broken Matt. So Jeff tells his brother, we have to leave all that behind us. Everything we've done in the past, the demons that we've been facing, we have to stay on course. We have to be Team Extreme. Gives Matt some pills, and then Matt dyes his hair. He gets that white streak out of it. He bunches it behind him in his ponytail. He wears his sleeveless V1 thing with his kind of crazy camo trousers. He goes fully back to being a Hardy Boy. Well, V1 isn't a Hardy Boy, so I guess he should be wearing what's like classic Hardy Boy, like black baggy pants and this sort of sheer black thing. You know what I mean. Get that horrible little beard back. However, before Great Balls of Fire, Shamzaro continue their assault on Jeff Hardy, believing that without Jeff, the Hardy Boys will die. After one of the Hardys' matches, they're on the ramp when bam, Sheamus and Cesaro attack them from behind, drag them backstage. They chain Matt to a wall and force him to watch them battering Jeff with steel chairs. Maybe they even, I don't know, drive a car into him or lower some shutters down on his ribs or hit him with some steps. Basically, Jeff is coughing up blood and he is out. Like, his ribs are broken. He has to go away and get surgery. And all the while, Matt is watching this happen to his brother, sort of like. Kurt Angle, annoyed by this, announces that Shamzaro still have to defend their tag belts at Great Balls of Fire, but Jeff is gone. He's out. We don't know when Jeff's going to be back. So Matt, you have to find a new partner. He tells Matt this news, and then Matt nods, says, yes, that sounds wonderful. And then he opens his hand to reveal Jeff's tooth. He's still got it, and he's still looking at it like he sort of a little bit wants to fuck it. So what he does with this tooth, right? And this is where all of the booking is going to get silly. But the thing about Broken Matt is it has to be silly. Like, you've seen the House of Horrors match, you can't pull this crap off if you don't take it like it's stupid. So we've got a tooth, right? And Matt is gonna grind this tooth up, Jeff Hardy's tooth. He's gonna grind it up into a little powder, put that powder into some hot chocolate, and he's going to drink it, believing that will imbue him with the spirit of Jeff Hardy, and he will become both Hardys. He will become a one-man Team Extreme. He's like, I am both Matt and Jeff. I'm Jat, I'm Meth. He is the Broken Hardys combined at this point. So that is a tag match at Great Balls of Fire. Cesaro and Sheamus versus both Hardys in the vessel of Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy plays the babyface in peril, getting beaten up by Sheamus and Cesaro, and then he sort of manages to tag himself in, and then he comes in like a great ball of fire. He comes in and starts doing all of Jeff Hardy's offense. He starts doing the do. He does a whisper in the wind. He manages to hit a swanton bomb. And this is important. This is not just silliness, but this is important for the casual fans watching, because the thing is, Matt's always sort of taken a little bit of a backseat to Jeff in terms of popularity. Whereas this time around, you've taken Jeff out of the equation, you've put Matt in the spotlight, and you're actually you're shaping him into the main Hardy via kind of appropriating some of Jeff's moves and sort of taking over the Jeff Hardy mantle. So yeah, he hits a swanton on Sheamus, but Cesaro breaks it up. He actually manages to shoot a fireball at Cesaro because, you know, if you're gonna have a fucking pay-per-view called Great Balls of Fire, someone should be throwing a fireball at someone, and who better than Broken Matt Hardy? Get some paper and he managed to get a fireball up in Cesaro's face, and it looks like he's gonna get the job done 1 versus 2 when suddenly lights go out, lights come back on, and in the ring is Bray Wyatt. And Bray Wyatt faces off against Broken Matt. He hits Matt with the Sister Abigail. Cesaro and Sheamus retain their tag belts. And then we get Bray Wyatt versus Broken Matt, the feud. Because like in this timeline, about a week or 2 weeks before Great Balls of Fire, we've had essentially Broken Matt. Like without Jeff, he is doing crazy promos backstage. Like not too much, like 1 or 2 backstage interviews where he says a few strange things. Don't put him out in front of the crowd yet, but we've seen there's this Broken Matt thing, right? And Bray Wyatt takes exception to that. He accuses Matt of spouting meaningless riddles and passing them off as some sort of great truth. Bray. I think if you give these guys creative freedom, the promos you can get out of a Wyatt-Hardy feud are just unbelievable. Because Bray, he's really inventive, but the problem is they take him so seriously with the whole, maggots, and it's a spooky doll head, and what's this thing I've made out of twigs? No one cares, Bray, it's wrestling. Whereas if you start to put him up against Matt Hardy, he's taking himself a bit less seriously, like Bray Wyatt has the potential to become the most entertaining guy on the roster. There is something really pleasing about the idea of Bray Wyatt in a spotlight, in the ring, surrounded by fireflies, trying to do this impassioned speech about truth and prophecy, and I am the man who talks, I am the one who gives you the truth, man, I'm out of here with my fireflies, man. And throughout all of that, just you slowly see flying into the spotlight a little drone behind him. He's like, Jesus So the rest of this video is just basically going to be the Bray Wyatt Matt Hardy feud, and I've essentially just written down some ideas for promos building up to SummerSlam, because that's where this feud's going to blow off, SummerSlam. So here's just a few ideas for promos that I think would be really neat for Bray and Matt. Eater of Worlds versus the Deleter of Worlds. That pretty much writes itself. This one's called Direflies. WWE can use fancy editing trickery to make it look like Matt Hardy somehow snuffs out all the camera phone lights in the crowd, or I've written here, somehow he inhales them. I'm not sure how you'd even attempt to do that, but have at it, editors. I fundamentally don't respect the time and work that goes into editing videos. Do I, Sam? That's the spirit. Let's see, you've got a compound swap, which is basically like a wife swap, but for bad places to live. Bray and Matt challenge each other to survive each other's houses, which are filled with spooky Home Alone style traps. Bray Wyatt in the Hardy compound battering drones with table legs, and Matt Hardy in Bray Wyatt's spooky house biting the heads off baby dolls. Also calling out the dilapidated fridge. No, don't do a dilapidated thing. New memes. I've called this promo Hard Boy. The reason for that name will become clear. Bray kidnaps Matt Hardy, surrounds him with dudes in sheep masks, straps him to an altar, and tries to exercise his madness. He does this by branding him with the old Hardy logo, that Team Extreme weird Prince thing. Matt Hardy escapes and fights his way out of the Wyatt compound, beating up all the sheep mask dudes with a big stick in one shot, just like Old Boy, which is why I called it Hard Boy. I can see why you were confused earlier. This one's called The Cultist with the Mostest. Bray and Matt spend an entire episode of Raw trying to outdo each other, trying to recruit the most followers to their cause. So it's just loads of backstage promos of them trying to seduce other members of the roster into joining their church. The Duel of Miracles, where Bray and Matt attempt to outdo each other with magic tricks in the ring, like levitation, blowing fire. Matt makes a puppy appear during a blackout. Bray then causes another blackout, you hear the sound of buzzards, and then their puppy disappears, or there's just a small pile of fur and bones and a collar in the ring, and I guarantee this will get Bray the most heat he has ever had in his career. I guarantee that. So those are just a couple of ideas for the mad, bonkers, wonderful shit that you could do with Bray Wyatt and Broken Matt. And at SummerSlam, they have a Chaos Reigns match, which is basically weapons everywhere, anything goes, just go fucking mental, boys. Matt Hardy gets a full entrance with the piano music. He's slowly lowered from the ceiling in a spotlight on a jetpack, and he's playing the violin. The violin shoots fire out of it. They have this match, and of course it's all hardcore nonsense, smoke and mirrors. They're throwing fireballs at each other. They're battering each other with these weird occult symbols. The thing is, like, there's been loads of really rubbish occult-themed horror matches. You know, there's been some in TNA. I think it was Sting versus Abyss in like a last something match, like coffins and tombstones. Again, the less serious you take it, the more fun bollocks you can have, and this is going to be fun bollocks. So Bray ultimately gets the upper hand and he starts bludgeoning Matt Hardy, and it looks like he's got him down for the count, and he's there in the ring and he does his crab walk and he's walking around shouting, "I'm the eater of worlds, I'm a big crab." When suddenly the lights go out, and when the lights come back on, there, standing on the turnbuckle, on the top of the turnbuckle, in like a Christ-like fallen angel pose, is Brother Nero. Jeff Hardy returns. He's standing on the turnbuckle. Bray's still looking up at him, he's still doing mid-crab. Brother Nero does the Swanton Bomb onto crab-walking Bray. Matt covers him. 1, 2, 3. Broken Matt wins, and the Broken Hardys are fully united. Delete, obsolete, delete, obsolete. So it takes WrestleMania to SummerSlam to fully create this new idea of the Broken Hardys, and then slowly ease the audience into understanding, first of all, they're not taking themselves seriously, and second, this is some cool new thing that you should be excited about, and you're using Bray Wyatt's innate theatricality to sort of get that over with the fans. It's not ideal that Bray Wyatt has to lose another feud. Maybe Bray can recruit some more people and go after the Broken Hardys, or the Broken Hardys can go off and do their own thing, again going after Sheamus and Cesaro, recapturing the tag titles. But this way you have the Hardys full broken and full entertaining, and at this point you just say, Matt, do what you like. Just do what you like. You are broken now. Go for it, my boy. And that is how I think WWE should book Broken Matt. Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.